It's been good. It's good to be back on the field. I mean, I think the guys are working really hard. We got a unique mix of like guys who played a lot of football and then a lot of young guys. So it's just been seeing the team come together and gel. So it's been really exciting.
Let's start with the newcomers, especially Malik Kelsey. How's he coming?
He's doing good. I think him, Colin, even Kanari in the spring. We got Alex Capta-Jones in terms of just the new true guys. Those guys have done a good job, learning the system and kind of getting a feel for how we do things. So it's been nice seeing them from day one till today. It's been really good.
How well are they connecting with the quarterbacks in terms of the timing and all that?
I think it's good. The quarterbacks did a great job this summer of getting the guys. Alex kind of came in late, but in terms of the other guys, they've been throwing and getting a good feel for each other all summer. So I think they have a good rapport. We're still working out some kinks, but it's been good.
What's that infusion of talent mean for your room, or how's it impact your room?
It's good. I mean, this is the first time, in 3 years that you got like true competition and true depth of guys who can actually like go out and compete once they figure it out. So, I think it's good because those guys have to come in every day, the older guys, and not get shown up by the young guys. Like someone in that group has made plays every single day. So it's exciting to have, a good nucleus of older guys who know the expectation, who's gone out and won, in the Big Ten, and then having an infusion of talent, whether it's coming off of the red shirt like Sean and those guys, or Malik and Colin and Alex. Like, it's just a lot of competition going on now. So that's been really exciting.
I guess with guys like Malik and Connor coming in the fall, what's the plan to get them up to speed quickly, I guess?
I mean, they've done a good job since, Colin and Malik, they've kind of lived in the building in terms of this summer and learned the offense and got with the older guys with the signals. So they've done a really good job of themselves of trying to immerse themselves into the offense. And then, just how Coach Lunny presents the game, the installs and things like that. It's kind of been piece by piece. And, they mess up a little bit, but they don't make the same mistake twice, which has been exciting.
Sean sort of fully back now. I mean, what does he bring to you guys after the year he's had?
I mean, Sean's, he's kind of like in that freshman group, just like, he's basically a redshirt freshman. So I think he has some maturity in terms of how we do things, how we work, how we operate. And then now it's just getting himself back into that football, mindset of, getting tackled, getting hit, and then just doing it day over day. And he's done a really nice job up to this point in camp also.
Alex brought to you? Obviously, you wanted to add some experience there, but what's he bring?
He has good length, and I think he runs really well, probably more than I thought he did even after we worked him out. Like, he has the ability to get down the field. He has really good ball skills. He made an amazing catch today. So I think once he gets comfortable, I think it just gives us another guy with some length, that has some vertical speed, that has really strong hands. So we're excited to continue to bring him in.
Do the new guys know your history here? Are they all told, Coach played here, all that stuff?
Right. I didn't play very much, but I played a little.
You played plenty.
I'll go and brag and tell them to go over by the Armory and look at my Big Ten title. And I was mostly a kickoff returner and a special teams guy, but I think they know the pride that I have in the program and what it means to me to coach here and to put a good product on the field. So I think they understand how much I care about this university and what the university's done for me, and how much when we go out on the field we want to respect not only ourselves and the current team, but the former players that have played here also. So I think me being in the room kind of gives them that, that underlying, like, hey, we're playing for something that's bigger than us.
You open your weekend, Rose Bowl team for the D3, which I know you missed for by several years.
Right.
They're coming back.
Right.
How excited are you to have them back here? What's that mean to you?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I think anytime you can bring back former players and they can see the success that other guys have, it just gives them a vision of that's what we want to accomplish. I'm still, an old man, and I still wish I had the chance to do that. So I think the young guys see it. They might not understand like the people that did it, but they understand that that team went to the Rose Bowl, and that's the ultimate goal. In the old Big Ten when you played, that was the ultimate goal to get to those type of bowl games.
I assume you've met David Williams over the years. Is that right or not?
I was talking to someone. I think I've met him once when I was a freshman, but I've heard,
Okay.
I see his picture in our meeting room, and I've heard a lot of great things about him. So he's one guy that I'm really excited to meet when he comes back.
You look at his numbers; they're staggeringly ahead of the next guy. It's
Right.
crazy how.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's what you guys should all aspire to. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like it to be more balanced. Our goal is to have a whole bunch of guys in the room like that. But I mean, he did it at a high level, and you look at the time and the era that he did it. It was really above, before the opened up offense.
Right.
So it really means a lot more. But his picture's on our wall, and we see those guys, that are on the wall, and our goal is to one day be good enough that we play well enough that they'll be willing to put us on the wall.
Do you have a 100-catch guy on the team now? David had 100 catches. Do you have a 100-catch guy now?
I don't know. I'm trying to get one catch. We still got to play. We still got a big game coming up against Toledo, and we're trying to get there. And you can't get 100 before you get one. But I know guys are hungry. Everyone's trying to get that first catch, and and to continue to build on the success that we've had over the past couple of years.
When camp's all said and done, even if there's not much separation, you feel like, yeah, it's clear who's the front line on the depth chart.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty simple. You got Isaiah, you got Casey, and you got Pat. Those guys have proven to go out and win. I think what we're trying to do is create competitive depth and see who can be those guys that are either a rotational guy or guys that can go in and do special plays. And the exciting thing is you got a room full of guys that can do something. So now this is the time where we're sharpening the skills of Alex really Casey, Pat, and Isaiah. Like, they've stepped up their game from where they were last year, and they brought the young guys up with them. So, we're really trying to create just a wide receiver unit that, regardless of who's out there, that we can go make a play and continue to have success on offense.
Those first three, what are the biggest steps you've seen?
I think maturity. I think Isaiah's playing at an extremely high level. I think he's seeing the field differently. I think Pat, he's working on his route detail, but just his explosiveness and his concentration and details of the finer things. And I think Casey's really done a good job of really immersing himself in the offense and practicing so hard and just having so much success creating explosive plays. Like, those three guys, the work that they're putting in, I'm excited to see how that translates this season.
Hank's your other guy that at least caught a few passes.
Oh, yeah, he caught a lot of passes today. Yeah.
Well, and just what may year two look like for him, just building off of what he did as a freshman?
The same. Like, if you see him at practice, he's more comfortable running routes. He's creating a lot more separation versus man, and he still has amazing hands. So, I think he's one of those guys that, similar to Pat, like, Pat was a blocker his first year, didn't really catch the ball much, and then his second year, he really had a strong year. I think Hank has that same type of similarities where we played him. He might not have had a lot of numbers in the stat sheet, but he gained a lot of numbers just in terms of experience, whether it's punt return, going in for Isaiah, and being able to execute the offense. And you see him out there now, he's more fluid. He understands the routes and how to set guys up and create the separation. He had like 3 or 4 nice catches today. So, he's done a really good job of taking that next step that you would expect a guy that played, last year would.
I mean, I've heard, good hands about Hank. Is that an innate thing, or can you learn?
I mean, I think you can learn to catch, but I don't think you can learn to catch. I think you can either catch or you learn how to catch. I think Hank, just based off his background and all the sports that he plays, he just has great hand-eye coordination. But he's out there catching the ball off the jug machine, 100 catches before and after practice. So it's something that he doesn't take for granted. Where Isaiah grew up throwing the football, and then when we converted him to receiver, like, he really spent hours and hours in the summertime learning how to catch the ball as a receiver and do those things, and similar with Ashton. So I think they all have good ball skills. I think some are a little bit maybe more natural than others, but as long as they catch it, that's all that matters right now.
How can Hank and Canary complement Isaiah?
I think, they both have similar skill sets but different. Obviously Canary has great vertical speed, so we could use him not only in the slot, but we could use him outside. And I think Hank has a great understanding of running the routes and creating the separation and just being such a reliable player. I think that's the fun that Coach Lunny, and Coach B have, is that just finding different packages and different plays and different concepts that can highlight all their tools. I think that's what Coach B's challenged us to do right now, is see who can play, see who we want to play, who can really be dependable, and then let's be creative and try to get those guys on the field in different ways to highlight their skills. So, that's the fun part that we have right now.
For your younger guys, George, just when do they get through a process in your experience of just playing and not thinking? Because it seems like that seems to be the first wall.
Right, that's a great question. It's hard, everybody's a different, Coach Lunny says, like, everybody has a different learning process. And what I try to tell those guys is that we're all different, we're all going to learn differently, so don't compare yourself to anyone else, just go through your process. So you never know until the game starts. Sometimes, it takes 4 games, sometimes it takes 8 games, sometimes it takes a year. I know they're all talented, so the question now is who's going to be able to help us the fastest and who's going to be ready, for the beginning of the season, the middle, the end, because, as we've seen the last 3 years, the roster changes so much throughout the course of the season. Like Jonah Morris helped us beat Iowa, and, he had limited catches, but he made 2 good catches in that game that allowed us to go score a touchdown. So you never know what that play is going to be. Like Pat's first year was just purely blocking, and that helped us do some positive things. So we want to get those guys in a position to be successful, and we'll find a way to either get them on the field or we'll keep training them until their time is ready.
How much thought, if any, has there been to maybe moving Isaiah around your 3 receiver spots? And have you guys maybe pushed that button at all more to think you might this camp?
Yeah, we moved him around last year. We have some ways to move him around. I think this year we'll try to do the same thing. I think the thing that you know, that with the three guys that we have, you know, Pat can play in the slot as well as Isaiah can play outside. So I think it gives us some flexibility to do some different things and create matchups with all three of them. You know what I mean? And then you have Kennard, you have Hank, you have Malik, who's a big body guy. So I think we've built a wide receiver room that it's just not guys that can only play one position. We're really trying to create, you know, position flexibility. And Isaiah, you know, he's smart. You know, he could probably be a backup quarterback if he had to. So, you know, I think it's fun with that guy, like, hey, go play outside this play, go play inside, go line up in the tailback, just finding creative ways to, you know, get him open and not make it so hard to get him the ball. And I think Coach Lonnie's done a great job over the summer and installing those plays up to this point to make sure that he's involved, but also that he's have some diversity in where he's getting the ball from.
Malik has said his own high expectations.
Oh, yeah.
How do you channel that with his talent and kind of develop that going into this year?
I mean, you know, he's a really good player, right? And he has a lot of confidence. So what I try to tell him is, like, you got to understand that you're going to go through the same process that everyone else. You can't jump steps. That's what we talked about today. And that's where, you know, a young guy like him, they think that they're going to come in and just be the guy right away. You know what I mean? And some guys do it, but I just try to teach them and tell them, like, hey, you're going to have rough days, and that's what you're supposed to have because you're a freshman. Like, so just, I try to temper his expectations, but not dampen them, and just let him know, like, I want you to shoot for the moon, and I want to help you get there, but there's going to be rough patches, so when those patches happen, like, the bottom doesn't fall out. And he's done great. Like, he's really, really mentally tough. Like, that's the one thing. I knew he was talented, but I never worked with him. But over the 5 practices, you can see, like, it's really important to him. He works really hard, and he knows how to manage the ups and downs. He has a high level of maturity, and so does Colin Dixon. Like, those guys are very, very mature, right? So it's been fun watching them grow because they don't, like, if they drop a ball, it's not like the end of the world. They're like, all right, I'll go get the next one, which is probably the hardest part as a freshman because you know your opportunities are just limited, so you press. But those guys have done a really nice job.
Ashton Indiana year in, we've seen.
He's good. I mean, he's done, like, you know, he had a good spring.
Who's
You
that
know.
Ashton Indiana?
Oh, which one did you
I
say?
asked both.
All right, well,
Ashton
starting with
and-
Ashton, like, Ashton had a good spring,
Yeah.
and then he kind of got banged up at the end. You know, he's long and he's fast. Like, you don't see how fast he is until you get up on him. And he's made an explosive play every day. And Hank, he's done a great job with Tank in the weight room, getting his weight up. So, you know, he's right in the mix of pushing those guys. And he's a guy that, you know, every day you're like, all right, well, there's number 6 again. There's number 6 again. So he's always on our mind based off of his play. And Ian's done the same thing. Like, his body's starting to change. He's getting bigger and stronger. So the one thing, you know, it's great competition. So every day is a different day, and everybody's competing on that day. So that's been fun. And those guys are, you know, they're learning to compete. You know, I think this is the first year where you look to your left and your right, and it's like, all right, I got to go, no matter how I feel. So I think those guys are embracing that moment and trying to outdo each other and push each other in the same way.
You mentioned it twice, George, but how much do you mention Pat in his freshman year as an example for some of these younger guys? It seemed like he understood right away, my physicality and my blocking can get me on the field right away.
Right, and I think, I mean, what got Pat on the field was his effort. You know, I mean, he was on the scout team with Walt, and he was on, you know, the show teams for kickoff and all those, and he was just going 100 miles per hour. And the defense really said, hey, you know, you got to get Pat on the field, and they did the same thing with Miles. So the one thing I tell those guys, like, your effort is going to get you noticed. It's not how good, it's like your effort that you do things, and that's what we use Pat for, and that's what we use Casey for, and that's what we use Isaiah. You know, Isaiah, once again, he was a quarterback. You know, I mean, we came in, he went through the spring as a quarterback. He had one day at wide receiver, and then from that day forward, he's been the leading receiver just because of his hard work outside of his talent. So that's the one thing for young guys, if they can learn that your work ethic and your effort is going to get the result, and that if you can just work as hard as you can every day, everything else falls into place. So that's what Pat does. Like, you know, if you watch him practice, like he's practicing like he's on the scout team, like he's trying to earn something, which makes everybody else pick up their effort also.
We saw the flashes from Pat last year. What's his next step?
It's the same. I think it's, you know, it's being detailed in everything he does. You know, there's some plays where he's a little bit off, and it could be an explosive play, and it's just the growth of managing the highs and lows of a game. You know what I mean? Sometimes you get the ball in the first quarter, sometimes you get the ball in the third quarter, but just staying focused and just being ready for your time. You know what I mean? And he's bought into it, and he works hard. You know what I mean? I think it's just this is his 3rd year. You feel like it's his 4th year, but he went from a blocker to a solid, you know, contributing receiver, and then now it's just the next transition of taking the next step. What does that look like? I don't know, but, you know, the way he's practicing, you know, I'm excited to see how big he can get this thing.
Chris said something that you guys brought in Alex. He was kind of the perfect fit for what you were looking for at that time. Like, what were you looking for in that spot on the roster?
I think we had lost Brian. Brian decided to go pursue other opportunities, so we kind of felt that void. So if you looked at last season, we had, 3 guys that were really good, and we really had 4 guys that can go out and make plays, And then we felt like if we can get an older guy to hopefully fit into that 4th spot, or push some guys to get into that 4th spot where you feel like they can go make key plays, and, I think he fits that, now whether that will be him is still yet to be determined, because there's other guys competing for that spot too, but I think that's, in your mind, you want to have 6, but, last year we definitely had 4 guys that, Brian made a lot of huge plays down the stretch in every game, and it helped us have explosive plays, so we can't lose that. Someone has to, we got to grow. Those 3 guys have to continue to grow and produce more, but we need someone that can come in and be that 4th receiver or 5th receiver and continue to have those big explosive plays too to help the offense be explosive.
Somebody who has experience in the return game as a player, having so many of your guys